easiest promise in politics is to stand before the cameras and speak about women's empowerment. The real test comes when that promise reaches parliament, when leaders must choose between political convenience and giving women the representation they have publicly championed for years. That test came with the Constitution 131st Amendment Bill 2026, and the opposition failed at it. This bill, which the opposition openly denied to support, would have fast-tracked 33% reservation for women in parliament and state assemblies, turning the promise of the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam into reality by 2029. However, it was never only about women's reservation. It was also about correcting a democratic imbalance that has existed for decades. India's population has grown enormously, yet the Lok Sabha has remained capped at 543 seats. That means one member of parliament today represents nearly 26 lakh people. Under this reform, the House would have expanded to around 850 seats, reducing that number to nearly 17 lakh per MP. That change would have meant smaller constituencies, better access to elected representatives, stronger accountability, and a parliament far more responsive to the needs of modern India. Within that expanded parliament, 33% of seats would have been reserved for women, dramatically increasing women's representation without taking away a single seat from any state. Every state stood to gain because the House itself was growing. No region was going to lose representation, no state was being punished, and no federal balance was being disturbed. Yet the opposition chose to spread exactly that fear.
नहीं, हमने क्लियरली बोला है कि ये महिला बिल नहीं है। ये हिंदुस्तान का राजनीतिक जो स्ट्रक्चर है, इलेक्टोरल स्ट्रक्चर है, उसको बदलने की कोशिश है। ये हमने रोक दिया है।
Instead of supporting a reform that would have strengthened representation for both women and voters, they resorted to the oldest political tactic in the book: divide and rule. They stoked regional anxieties, fueled the North-South narrative, and tried to portray democratic expansion as discrimination. Not because the bill threatened federalism, but because the bill threatened their politics. That vote tore the mask off the opposition. For years, India Alliance have sermonized about women's rights, paraded the language of empowerment, and claimed the moral high ground on justice and representation. But when the moment arrived to actually hand women greater political power, they exposed their real face. Their speeches were nothing but empty posturing, and their promises collapsed the instant. Those promises threatened their political calculations. When they had to choose between empowering women and protecting their own political interests, they chose self-preservation without hesitation. The ND Alliance chose to sacrifice women's representation at the altar of vote bank politics. They did not merely vote against a bill. They betrayed women, sabotaged reform, and proved that their commitment to empowerment was never conviction, only convenience. The harsh reality is that while the opposition walks away with its politics intact, it is India's women who are forced to wait. And in the end, the price of that decision will not be paid by politicians. It will be paid by the women whose voices were once again pushed aside.